Hi, and welcome back to ELA with Miss Wardell. So today we are doing lesson 16. I wanted to start off again with some vocabulary just to help us get started. We are going to be talking about aeronautics. It's the study or practice of flight and aircraft. Applications. So this is written requests to be considered for a job or program. Engineering. This is the study of work, of using science and knowledge and methods to solve problems in the world. Pursue. Pursue means to do what it takes to accomplish something. Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you really have to pursue what you want to do and really go after it. Refugees. These are people who flee to another country for protection or safety. And a tragedy is a very sad event or even a disaster. So we're going to be listening to a read aloud within our meet about Mae Jemison, all right? And we're going to be learning a lot about her. Within this read aloud, we're going to be thinking about, let me go to the slide and I'll tell you. Oh, I went one past it. So why is Mae Jemison famous? Why is she famous? Well, if you don't know anything about her, in 1992, she was the first African American woman to become an astronaut and to travel in space. She was the very first one. Let me see real quick. So on page 141 on 16.1, as you listen to this read aloud, it's going to ask you, and we're going to stop and talk about it. But we're going to ask, why is Mae Jemison famous? Right? Why is she famous? We're going to talk about and describe Jemison's mission as an astronaut. We are going to be talking about NASA and how it considers many applications for the astronaut program. What kinds of characteristics and skills do you think made Jemison a good candidate for NASA? So, what made her a really good candidate for NASA, right? And then over on page 142, it says, what kind of international work did Jemison do to help people around the world? So what did she do? Did she sort of volunteer? What did she volunteer for? And 5, why did NASA stop taking applications for a new astronaut or for new astronauts for a period of time when she was interested in joining NASA? So I wonder that, I wonder why they stopped. And I'm really hoping that it goes into why they stopped it, which would be really interesting. Then we're going to talk about the events of Mae's life and list below. They're in the wrong order at the moment, and it says use numbers 1 through 7 to put them in the right order. So I'm going to kind of get us started on this. It says joins the Peace Corps and goes to Africa. Graduates from high school at the age of 16. becomes the first African American female astronaut to go to space, attends Stanford University, is one of 15 people chosen out of 2,000 applicants to be an astronaut, goes to medical school, retires from NASA, and becomes a professor. Now, when you think about the order of which something happens, you really want to consider, what do you think happens first? She does a lot in her life, but she first has to graduate high school, doesn't she? I mean, nothing happens before that. They don't talk about being a baby or a kid or anything else. And so I would think that this is the very first thing that happens. And then for me, I always like to start with the first and the last thing. And as I read, so joins the Peace Corps, becomes the first female astronaut, attends university, is one of 15 right here. It really makes me think like old age, kind of like age 16 makes me think of something really young. So if this one happened first, then retiring probably happened last. And then we could fill in everything that happened in between, right? So after high school, it kind of makes you think you don't really go right into medical school or go and become an astronaut, but you next have to go to a university. So that would be ideally the very next path. So here, this would be 2. And then once you have completed high school, college, then you could probably go to medical school, couldn't you? So we're going to be looking for 4, 5, and 6, right? So keep that in mind. We're going to be looking for those numbers and how to fill those in. Number 2 asks us, why do you think May is a good role model for others? Can you name any other people that you have learned about in previous lessons who would be a good role model? So I kind of feel like I think about Unit 2 that we did in reading, and I thought about Dr. Um, Goodall, right? So Dr. Goodall um, was a positive role model. Jane, that's her first name, Jane Goodall. Jane, she did a lot within the community. She did a lot to help. Jane helped a lot of people. Um, but not just people, she also helped animals. She also she also made a lot of discoveries for science. So a lot of discoveries for science. And that helps us still today. Now you can pick somebody different to write about. I just thought about Dr. Goodall and what all she's done for science and technology and just human and mankind altogether. Over on page 140, oh, not 144. Well, I'm going to use 144 because we are going to be doing another writing today. And this is an opinion writing. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about um, May, um, and we're going to be doing some writing from her. It's really going to could be kind of cool. All right. Let's go to this next slide. I want to show you real quickly. So she had a mission. She had this mission that was since she was 12-year-old. She was 12 years old. She wanted to become an astronaut based on that Apollo 11 mission. And because Neil Armstrong went to the moon, right? Because he went to the moon. So she had a goal in mind. Have you ever heard of a phrase? Like, you ever heard somebody say, a feather in your cap? Well, what does that mean? So this is really something that is an idiom, and it refers to, oops, sorry, meant to bring this one up. It refers to an accomplishment that is worth the praise, memorizing all your multiplication, for example. That might be a feather in your cap. Knowing the different types of Native Americans and Asian custom, like this could be a feather in your cap. So in today, when you listen about May, think about all of her accomplishments and the feathers in her cap, right? So African American studies is a study of history, culture, and politics of African Americans, Americans who have ancestors from Africa. A chemical engineer is the study of which scientists use knowledge of chemistry and how things in nature in the natural world are made and interact. A Peace Corps is a group of American volunteers who carry out projects in other countries to help improve lives of people who live there. Healthcare is the prevention or treatment of illness trained by medical specialists. We're also going to be reading about Dr. May Jennison and why we think that she's a great role model. We're going to talk about what she did after finishing the Peace Corps and what are important facts about serving on an endeavor that proves she's a good role model. For our writing, we're going to be talking about the best way to make dreams come true is to wake up. We're going to be using her quote to help us. And what is your opinion? What's the best way to make dreams come true? Again, this review of suffixes, so full, us, less, if, and we. Remember, they come at the end of a word just to change the meaning. And quotation marks, they say exactly what a person says, right? Last but not least, those conjunction. Remember, those are the glue that hold all of those sentences together. And, but, because, and so, and or. All right, guys. So that's it. We're going to be talking, and I'll give you your writing prompt in our writing meet. Bye.